Did someone say they want to see some Heart of the Swarm? Well, you clicked on this video, so hello and welcome everyone, because that is what you are about to get. And my goodness, anyone who tunes into my channel frequently, on a daily basis even for my casts, will know that that intro sounded so incredibly awkward. I feel like I want to redo it and just be like, hello and welcome everyone to another Heart of the Swarm beta game. So, I think I'm just going to stick to it. I feel like that didn't quite go how I wanted, but I hope you all enjoyed a bit of variety in life. So, what have we got today? We have got a game from TLO's WhiteRa ZvP pack of the week. It's on Heart of the Swarm. He is the red Zerg player in the bottom right position, and his opponent in the lower left, it is the blue Protoss. It is WhiteRa. So, this is going to be a pretty legendary ZvP, and as such, these two have got a lot of expectations on them. WhiteRa, I'm gonna just go out on a limb here. I reckon he's gonna go for an Oracle opening. I don't think anyone has ever loved a unit as much as WhiteRa loves an Oracle. I think he probably actually dreams about them. I would. He uses them every game, and to a lot of effect, so I cannot blame him. Now, this scout off coming quite early, making sure TLO's not doing anything too risky, anything that would catch WhiteRa off guard, any shenanigans that could be occurring, but for the moment, TLO's just diligently checking around the edge of his map, base rather, being like, are you building any pylons anywhere? Because please don't. That would annoy me. But WhiteRa, he's only building pylons outside his natural. He is just comfortably saying, do you know what, I want to forge fast expand because that's what I like doing. I've done this for all of Wings of Liberty pretty much. It's a nice build to go for. TLO though, he's going, do you know what, if you're going to expand and not trying to kill me, I, sir, am going to take my hatchery first, because you would not be expecting that. WhiteRa though is taking his Nexus first, so currently this is just them racing to see who can take the most bases the quickest without dying. And that is really summarizing PvZ as an early game in Wings of Liberty. And what it comes down to is just what actually is the mid game going to be. TLO now has to take this base, or ideally this base, within the next minute or so. That is a must. Once he's done that though, he has to work out what WhiteRa is going to be doing. Will it be, for example, those oracles that he knows and loves? Will it just be some kind of gateway push? Will it be a big play with the mothership core and stalkers into the third? We'll wait to see, but all of those require a different response from our Zerg player, and therefore he's going to have to accurately predict it. So for the moment, the Overlord is going to come in. Going to see that the Nexus is coming down. Going to see that the Gateway and Forge are both nearly complete. Doesn't get a scout out on the gas yet, though. That's the next thing that WhiteRa really needs to identify. He knows that these two will be down. They're always going to be down. What he just needs to find out is when these two are taken and if they are taken. Meanwhile, TLO, he's taken his third. He's taken the close third. The only downside to this is this area is slightly susceptible to force fields. This base though is so far away it can be difficult to hold as well. So this one is just going to make you a little bit safer against oracles compared to the top one. And as such, that really fits into how TLO is going to probably be imagining WhiteRa will play. The Cybercore on its way down, the pylon coming down, and there is actually a double wall. Oh, there's a double gap there, but WhiteRa does realise and completes the wall off. So, straight away, he's now safe. He's got the probe there to make sure no Zerglings can come sneaking in to his home. The Overlord, just keeping a watchful eye, being like, okay, you haven't taken your third or fourth gas yet, that's fine by me. I'm still safe, not dying quite yet. But WhiteRa, he's got a good amount of gas. He's got a pylon up here, and I'm not going to say we could have predicted this, but we did. Because it's a Stargate, and it's going to be an Oracle out of that. Seriously, if it's not an Oracle, I will actually be amazed. It could be potentially Void Rays, but it's a bit more unusual to see those. But why are Oracles so good? For anyone who hasn't been following Heart of the Swarm, they are quite mobile, and they decimate a mineral line so quickly. If you blink, all of your drones are dead before you really know what happened. But there is a drawback to Oracles. Their attack requires energy, and they are also quite squishy, which means the two queens can comfortably kill them. So, we're in line with that. Maybe TLO will get down an evolution chamber shortly. Maybe he'll blindly build a spore cooler at each base, preparing for the quite likely oracles which are now in production. Or maybe TLO will fall for it and take a lot of damage. That is the important thing. Now, WhiteRa's usual strategy in PvZ, currently from what I've seen of him, is that he will get this Stargate down, he'll get the oracles, and he will use those in order to secure a relatively fast third base. But when he does that, he gets a mothership core out, and what I'm noticing is there isn't a mothership core in production quite yet, so it's not going to be as early as it could have been. This Stalker doing a bit of damage, 2 queens there. Where is any defense coming down with the evolution chamber not done? Where is that oracle? It's just waiting patiently for its friend. 2 oracles are better than 1. It starts becoming a lot of fun trying to manage them. The mothership core is now in production. We've got a probe coming out. Are we going to see a pylon chuck down shortly? Are we just going to see the Nexus started straight away? Nexus it is, and this is just so WhiteRa style at the moment, and it's quite effective, to be honest. But with this Overlord Scout, TLO knows that actually I'm going to be up against oracles. Chucks down the spore crawlers. Where are they? There is one at the third. There should be another one somewhere. Where are you? There we go, one down here. Needs one back in the main though, because there's only the single queen there and 2 oracles. We'll be able to take that out. But what is coming out? It's going to be 3 oracles. This is such a big commitment. Now you might be wondering, why 3 oracles? They actually, as far as I'm aware, beat 1 spore and 1 queen. And that is why they're very important. The Fleet Beacon also coming down here for WhiteRa, as well as the second Stargate. So going complete Sky Toss at the moment. Meanwhile, the work account for TLO, he's up to 65. After this next wave, he'll be 70 plus, and is now just getting down his Hydra Den, as well as the Infestation Pit. So the Hydra's direct response to Sky Toss. The Infestation Pit could be for either infestors or much more likely the swarm hosts, which TLO, by going for air, won't have a way of dealing with for quite a long period of time. No Colossi in order to splash them down, no storms to deal with the locusts, and as such could potentially be very, very effective. So, in comes the oracles. There is not a single spore crawler here. Those 3 oracles are going to melt the queen, and as such, this base is now completely going to be sacrificed, and it won't go down, but with 2 queens coming in, these 3 oracles with some micro could hold it off, but instead the oracle's just coming straight down to the natural base. They want to get some kills. They're getting a good scat off as well, and of course TLO, he's having to run around each and every way with those drones. He's losing a lot of mining time, and behind this there is none other than carriers coming out. That is how cool WhiteRa is. He's just going carrier. Oracle into carrier is awesome. Getting carriers in a legitimate game instantly makes you 10 times cooler than anyone else you're playing. It's just a fact, and I'm sorry TLO, you're a cool guy, but carriers, they're pretty winning. They are just generally awesome. Unless you go Burrow Bailings, TLO, that's your one chance. If you go Burrow Bailings, which admittedly would be absolutely terrible against Sky Toss, it would just make you cooler, and that is your only option. But for the moment, WhiteRa, he has got all the scouting information he needs. He knows the 4th's down, the 3rd's down. He didn't actually do that much damage. If we take a look, he's only killed 3 workers so far. They're coming back in, gonna go for the queen. Hydras though, and unfortunately that queen survives with 11 health. 1 oracle goes down as well, the second one on very low health. The first carrier is out, void rays are coming out. To be honest, WhiteRa is just getting everything together that he needs. He's also supply blocked TLO briefly, and well, now we're in a situation where actually there's this small window of opportunity, and what TLO needs to do is really capitalize on it. He's got some infestors out, but he hasn't got pathogen glands, so they're going to take a while. He's not going swarm host as I thought, and instead it's just going to start pushing forward, or rather needs to start pushing forward once that muscular augments upgrade is done, because once Sky Toss gets up to a sizable force, you are going to run into some major problems. So, Vipers coming out. This is going to complement the Hydras, because you're going to be able to abduct the carriers, for example, into the Hydra ball and be able to just take them out very effectively and quickly. As long as that works, TLO should be fine, but the big concern is that if he allows WhiteRa to macro up and get out a good number of units, get out these additional Stargates, then actually WhiteRa is going to have such a sizable force that Hydras alone won't be able to deal with it. So it's certainly something that TLO does need to consider. He's going to start consuming those evolution chambers to get more energy on the Vipers. He's got all 8 gas mining. The oracles are coming back in. There was a single spore crawler there though, but the 2 oracles, if they position themselves well and TLO doesn't micro against the damaged oracle, he should be able to do a nice little bit of damage. But here comes the shots. The spore crawler getting involved as well. 1 oracle falls, and an oracle will not beat a queen and a spore. It's just not going to happen. Meanwhile, we've got WhiteRa taking up his 4th base. He's getting a good defensive position here with a few photon cannons, and now getting up a 4th Stargate. So he is going so committed to this Sky Toss, which is fine as long as he can get it out. TLO though, he's near max. He's moving across the map. He's got those 3 Vipers with full energy. And with that, he's got some good abducts. If he gets those carriers quickly, he's going to be in a good position. But these cannons are doing a nice amount of damage already before things even engage. A photon overcharge is going down. The carriers are going to start engaging the abduct. should come down, and there we go, straight away those carriers trying to get focused. One falls. The second one is taking quite a bit of damage here, is going to go down, but TLO losing nearly all of his army to the cannons, to the interceptors. The Void Ray doing a nice bit of damage as well. The additional carriers behind. Luckily, the third carrier does fall, but in terms of the loss tab, TLO lost more there. But the real loser was actually WhiteRa, because he's lost 3 carriers, now down to just 1. His army supply is sitting at 49 to the 78 of TLO, and as such, TLO is going to be able to remax a lot quicker than SkyToss. He's going to be able to come and put on wave 2 of this paint. Upgrade wise as well, that's worth noting. It's 2-1 for TLO compared to just +1 air weapons for WhiteRa. So he's behind in upgrades. We've got 3-2 already on its way out for TLO at the moment. He's nearly remaxed, but he's going for wave 2 of this push. Some more cannons are coming up, but where are the Vipers? They are nowhere to be seen because they have died, and therefore there's no way to abduct these carriers, which means the WhiteRa can engage okay here. With Photon Overcharge, it'll be good. A great fungal growth though, locking those carriers in place, but a fourth one coming out now, and WhiteRa is destroying this force without the abduct. There's just no way to deal with the carriers before they deal an awful lot of damage, and those interceptors are doing just so much and just shredding through the roaches and hydras ever so quickly. So there, that engagement was pretty terrible, I'm going to say, for TLO. Just not being able to deal with those carriers, and therefore WhiteRa has taken the supply advantage. And considering he's producing 4 carriers at a time, this is now going to become a major issue for TLO. Hydras alone are going to struggle to engage this force once 3 more carriers are out on the field. Even with the 3-2 upgrades, they're not going to be too strong against you. You're going to need to start thinking of another way to deal with it, and Corruptors are probably your only option. But as we see here, WhiteRa getting out that Templar archives, that storm is going to be essential. With a few good storms, TLO's Hydras will absolutely melt, and once they do, there's suddenly going to be a position where TLO can't deal at all with the carriers and everything will get cleaned up. We do have some roaches trying to sneak their way through, but 4 cannons, a sentry and a Zeta complete the wall off, and as such, these roaches are not going to enjoy this party. They are going to take a lot of damage, but it's just a distraction because WhiteRa is destroying the Hydra force here. The interceptors soaking up so much of the damage, and unfortunately the carriers are now basically just sitting ducks without many units there, but they're trying to remax on interceptors as fast as possible. They need to pull back. The cannons are now back up though, and since most of the units have been killed, the second wave is going to be all important. Can the Hydras push through? Can the carriers get out enough interceptors before the Hydras do enough damage? Well, we have got to wait and see, but both players are on 4 bases. WhiteRa supply block now, but does have the supply advantage. The interceptors are now going in. They are doing a huge amount of damage, and WhiteRa will be able to hold for the time being. So, all that was lost was this Nexus, which admittedly isn't great, but he has a 4th down, sitting, waiting, and TLO is only on 4 bases himself. So, rebuilding this, for a long period of time they were on equal bases. WhiteRa at 111 probes. He has been watching Day 9, he has been making his probes and pylons, and it's possibly actually slightly too high there. His income is huge, mind you, but he needs to start thinking that actually that's eating a lot into the amount of units I can have out on the field. But look at that carrier count. While a lot of interceptors died, I don't think a single carrier did, and as such, there's now 10 on the field, another one about to come out. The 3-2 upgrades, though, complete for TLO, plus 3 rather, Protoss air weapons are about to finish up. The High Templar are out, Storm is researched, so they are just banking off the energy, ready to melt these Hydralisks as soon as possible. Behind this, TLO, he's taking up a 5th base. That's essential for him right now. He needs to stay a base up. But to be honest, WhiteRa, he is up to 200 supply pretty much. TLO, he's also there, so it's going to come down to a few big engagements. The Storms, are they going to be good enough? The Intercept's going in, the High Templar not doing anything yet, but there are some massive Storms. Look at the damage they're doing, and TLO, GG's out there, running straight into the High Templar, and my goodness. Carriers with High Templar is a good unit composition, apparently, but my goodness, does it take a long time to get up. So, that was a back and forth game. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for yet another new cast. Bye for now.